Do artists really have to starve to be true to their craft? Must the business side of creativity drain all inspiration? No, it does not. 5 minutes on creative entrepreneurship can help you master the business side of creativity, reap greater rewards from your talent, and enjoy your work to the fullest.
I'm so glad trouble don't last always.
When was the last time you completed a project at or under budget? Is hitting that target a regular pattern in your creative business or a rarity? There are all sorts of ways that projects spin out of orbit, and some will always be out of your control, but others are up to you. How do you know which are which? And how can you regain control over the patterns and practices that you're contributing to Project Bloat? I'm Eric Holter, and I've been a serial creative entrepreneur for over 3 decades. After graduating from Rhode Island School of Design in 1991, I could cut and print beautiful wood engravings. But I had no idea how to run a business. They just don't teach enough about business in art school. I began my first web design company back in 1995. Web design work was easy to come by back then, but executing on those projects profitably was not easy. A few years into that business, one of my project managers did some research to break down all of the tasks, stages, and steps in our typical process. His results reported that based on our typical process, we were spending upwards of 3 times the hours than we were estimating for. I was highly skeptical, but the more I studied his work and challenged his assumptions, the more I began to see that not only was he right, he was probably underestimating and wasn't even considering client-related bloat, which is always an inevitability. I knew I had to solve this problem, but I had an even more fundamental problem making it harder to find a fix. I had no time data to mine in order to find ways to adjust our process. I had no idea what phases or practices or factors to evaluate and change. But one thing I did change. I immediately began requiring all of my employees to keep daily time records. Eventually, I was able to fix our process. But if only I had had that data in the first place, I could have fixed things so much faster. If there's one professional practice I could insist upon for every creative entrepreneur to adopt from day one, it would be to start tracking all their time. You never know when this data will become gold. Of course, if you bill by the hour, you probably already keep a record of your time in order to send invoices to your clients. But billable project time is not the only data you need. In fact, it's often non-project time expenditures that erode the profitability of a creative practice. Those red, white, and gray Legos representing overhead hours that we talked about in the second episode, they always put downward pressure on your bottom line. And so you need to record all your time working in your business, whether doing billable work or administrative tasks or in sales and marketing. Having a comprehensive and accurate record of all the time you spend at work is a gold mine of intelligence that cannot be replaced if it's not kept all along. You can't go back and fill in your time days or weeks after the fact. No one's memory is that good. The more immediately you record your time, the more accurate and valuable this data will be when you need it. When you have months and years worth of complete and accurate time data, you'll have a precious and irreplaceable resource. By keeping this data, and more importantly, analyzing it from time to time, you'll be able to improve your workflow, estimate projects more accurately, and ensure that you're giving sufficient attention to the non-project related aspects of running your business. No one ever said that tracking their time was their favorite part of their job. It is, admittedly, a bit tedious, but the upside is well worth the effort. I wonder, though, if you have not maintained consistent time tracking in your practice, if the reasons have less to do with the inconvenience and more to do with the fears that being so time-aware might harm your creative process. That is a common objection, or excuse, and next week I'll address the objection that deadlines and time tracking kill creativity. So until next week, don't let the business of creativity overwhelm your creative business.
5 Minutes on Creative Entrepreneurship is a podcast by Eric Holter, mentor to creative entrepreneurs. You can find more content and resources at ericholter.com. His book, Blazing the Freelance Trail, is available on Amazon in print, Kindle, and audio. If this podcast is helpful to you, be sure to share it with your colleagues, and ratings and reviews are always appreciated.
I'm so glad Trouble don't last